Welcome to this week's news and updates. I'm Laurel, here to welcome you to our, oh my God, Don, it's the second show of a new year here in AltspaceVR. Oh my gosh, it can't be. Second show already.
And I'm Donna, the other host here at News and Updates, ready to bring you all the news that is the news in our metaverse community of AltspaceVR. Mark, our esteemed producer and the genius of this weekly AltspaceVR news show, is behind the camera bot live streaming to everyone out in the metaverse and beyond.
Yay! All right, we have got some AltSpace news for you. This week's Mingle and Chill with Keegan, the program owner of AltspaceVR, covered a wide variety of topics. And she invited people to share their stories on disability and accessibility using technology for good, on how they use VR and especially AltspaceVR for good. It was a great opportunity for people to connect and share their stories on how AltspaceVR changed their lives.
And we really love these stories. Most of them range from finding connections in communities when they can't in the real world due to things like social anxiety, ADHD, possibly physical disabilities, and meeting people from around the world that you might never meet outside of your small world. AltspaceVR is a way to network with people with the same ideas and goals in person rather than just through chats and social networks. Many have worked through depression, all sorts of different things like depression, anxieties, gender and identity issues, extreme shyness, to find their way and help them be stronger in the real world too. You guys, a lot of you that are listening right now have probably experienced these same things, and there's so many stories. So it was great to hear a few of them at Mingle and Chill.
Yet many have found leadership opportunities in AltspaceVR with all the events and the Community Helper Program, and a request was made to add sign language and translation capabilities, especially with the upcoming hand tracking capabilities are coming with the Quest, something we've wanted long before the Quest. And in addition to these great stories that were shared, Keegan addressed some of the community concerns and said, she made some important points that we'd like to cover as well.
So we've been warned for 18 months, we were warned 18 months ago that the old SDK and Shane's editor would be gone in a few months as Unity, the SDK, and AltspaceVR was moving into new development. Then AltspaceVR extended the deadline and extended it, and I know that everybody was happy with that. It was lasting through the remodel and setting worlds as beta to ensure safe and stable experiences for everyone. Well, after 18 months of extensions, the day is finally here.
As of Monday, the old SDK will not work in AltspaceVR, okay? So the newest update to Unity and the AltspaceVR Unity Uploader will arrive, which will make many world-building assets designed with the old tools not work, while bringing us plenty of new tools, new features, and new abilities. And I have to say, I'm really excited about some new goodies coming.
So we also know that it's frustrating to many who have used that old SDK and Unity versions to create fascinating and entertaining worlds. We've enjoyed them along with you, you builders. It's disappointing to lose legacy programming. It's just one of those things, right? We will cover more of this in the World Building News section. But Keegan explained that they've been very patient in working to end the old SDK programming, and now, for security reasons, as well as to match Unity's development and release schedule, the old SDK programming will be removed for security reasons. They are working on stabilizing the new world building tools, but it takes time, you guys. Once we're going to have patience once more inside AltSpace.
Yes, but we're such an impatient community. Oh, I wish we had more patience. Or I'm working on it. I wish I had more patience. We've talked about the worlds being put into beta after a year of testing and experimenting with the user building. While the devs are working on some new UI for visiting and managing worlds, there's also some concerns about worlds being flagged or not featured or removed from the featured list. As mentioned in previous public meetings with Keegan, enough people abused the featured worlds privilege, and the staff developed stronger review processes and guidelines, which we reviewed on the show. So watch our previous videos. Having your world featured is a privilege and an honor. Many of us build worlds for our own pleasure, and you're free to build whatever you wish and make it public or private or not have it featured. If it is featured, it must comply with the guidelines and not be changed. And the same applies to event spaces. So as mentioned here previously, it takes just a few people to make it miserable for the rest of us. So if we all play nice, we all work together, you know, our virtual world will be a much better place and space.
Oh, so true. AltspaceVR is constantly improving and changing, sometimes to comply with their own roadmap of development, other times to comply with the Oculus and Steam stores guidelines, and many, many, many times to comply with the wishes of the community. And you guys, we've asked for a lot of things, and they have responded positively in so many things that we've asked for. Sometimes we like the changes, like the new moderation and event hosting tools. Other times, we're less happy, and we let the developers know it, and they listen. I'm sure the developers would rather develop and improve AltspaceVR without us nagging by the hundreds or thousands. But they actually appreciate our input. They really do. Just to know that there are human beings and not infallible or superheroes, though some of us think they are. Oh, excuse me. They are people just like us trying to make AltSpace a better place. Make it a point this week, seriously guys, this is a goal. Make it a point this week to say thank you to an admin or a developer if you happen to come across one. Remember, AltspaceVR is free for us. You guys, it's $0 investment for us to use and enjoy. For many of us, this is more home than our own home. You get some hearts if you're in the house for that one. I think a lot of people can relate to that. So let's keep it a safer place to live.
Indeed, and I feel like the same thing that we tell everybody who's new here, that, you know, behind every avatar is a human being, behind every dev and every CST is a human being. So, yeah, I like that idea, Donna. Let's show some love for all of our admins and our staff here. Now, the Info Zone has been an informative and educational experience for new users as well as old. It's wonderful to meet the new people coming in from all over the world speaking different languages and representing the diversity that we've come to expect and enjoy here. It's amazing. For those of us who've been here a while, it's fascinating to learn about the questions that people ask. It's helping us learn more about how AltSpace works. It also gives us more appreciation for the outstanding work that the community support team, the CSTs, do to keep our community safe and, well, moderated, unlike some we're not going to name.
Yeah. Last week, the Info Zone was locked down to only registered users access to the campfire and the rest of AltspaceVR. Those who've been in AltspaceVR for a while as a guest without making an account were also unable to access the events in campfire when they returned. It will be interesting to see how this change in the Info Zone influences the community.
And Donna, I just realized we don't have a single guest out here.
I just did a 101. Hang on, I did a 101 without a guest. I have to say, I felt like I had wings.
Oh my goodness! Wow, that's amazing. So I just want to remind everybody that while it might be nice to just judge all guest accounts as trolls or children, that's not really fair. But there is, I can tell a quality difference here already. All of us have had guest accounts at one time. So we are not privileged to the inner workings of AltspaceVR, but the GDPR, the General Data Protection Regulation in the EU, along with data privacy laws in California, Washington State, and other laws that impact all websites, all apps, all games and platforms, is likely behind part of this change. Laws are now in place that require users to have the ability to review data collected online by online companies and know how that data is being used. So I love that joke of, do you know where your data is sleeping? Do you know where your data is right now? and choose to opt in or opt out. And Microsoft and AltspaceVR are among those companies that are covered by that law.
Now, the change helps AltspaceVR comply with the laws and does help filter out underage, at least for those who aren't lying about their age. Yeah, that happens. Microsoft has a downloadable tool called the Diagnostic Data Viewer. This is, you have the ability to review the information Windows sends to Microsoft. For other apps, check the Microsoft Privacy Dashboard. We'll post links after the show to those tools in our Discord server, okay guys, if you want to check them out?
Yeah, I was surprised. I had some eye-opening stuff when I checked those out, so do check them out. Many are still asking about what to do with the underage children that are making their way into AltspaceVR. This is not new. This has been going on since the beginning of AltSpace time, virtual time, and so as it has always been, to help protect the underage and AltspaceVR, because these are laws in place that are now regulating all this, please block those who confirm they're underage and report them for immature behavior, and let staff deal with them. Okay? Please do not judge someone by the sound of their voice. Make that decision based upon behavior and confirmation.
One of the biggest challenges for those helping with the info zone, especially in the morning time for North America and the evening for Europe, is the inability to speak the many languages that come with the many people that come to AltspaceVR. If you are fluent in one or more languages, please consider helping out, even just for 30 minutes or more, to greet people arriving from Germany, France, the Netherlands, Spain, Israel, Croatia, Russia, Singapore, South Korea, and from all over the world. A few kind words in a familiar language welcomes them and introduces them to our community. And I would also add, please have patience for those people from all of those countries and more that try to speak English. So if somebody is struggling with words, please be patient with them and try, just show that patience, because as I always say to them, I don't speak any of your language, so I can't believe how great you're speaking English, right? There's so many people that try so hard and feel so apologetic because they don't speak English well. Oh my gosh, I don't speak their language at all. So please be patient with them.
And here's another tip. If you run into somebody whose language you don't speak and you want to connect and help them, friend them. They can see the big check mark in your name badge, and maybe they'll comply. Then you can, if you have a tethered access or you're doing 2D, you can use Google Translate and try to type at least your words and maybe try to get a better understanding and communicate that way so that you can help them. Or get to know people who speak all kinds of different languages. Call on them to come help.
That's so awesome, yes.
Yeah, so I've done a lot of that in the info zone where I've used machine translate to go back and forth, and it's really good right now. But so also consider offering meetups in a non-English language. Now, while this meetup that I'm going to talk about is in English, Daisy Shaw started a regional meetup in AltspaceVR for people living in the UK. So it's not a foreign language, but you can do the same thing in your language or in your country. So the next one is Thursday. So if you live in the UK, check out that UK meetup on Thursday. I'm waiting to hear, Daisy. I'm waiting to hear when you guys meet in person. I want a full report, because I love it. So this next one for the Daisy Shaw, the UK meetup is Thursday. Don't miss it. And honestly, do the same thing for your country, your region, your state, your province, your whatever it happens to be. You never know. I found out that I lived just a few miles from somebody here, and I had no idea. We've been hanging out for a while. I had no idea. You might find somebody living right next door.
So now on to updates. The AltspaceVR team has been hard at work with some updates to the world-building features, as well as AltspaceVR in general. Expect some major updates this coming week. We announce the updates as we learn about them in our News and Updates Discord server. So if you aren't a member, please join to keep up with the news here in AltspaceVR.
Yay! World building. Do you know that there are over 1,000 featured worlds here in AltspaceVR? Did you know that? Do the math. It's amazing. I have, and those are public featured worlds. Those aren't just private worlds or unfeatured worlds. That's just featured worlds. It's amazing. I have dozens. I know Mark has at least that many, if not more. And I know, but so does Donna has a bunch. So we've been taking this world building thing, and we've been running with it, mostly unleashed, okay? A little on the out of control side in some respects. And we've received a few guidelines over the past 18 months. And when the abuse began, the guidelines and the review process became stricter, of course, so appropriately so. Still, many of us became accustomed to having free reign, and it's really hard when those reins are pulled in tight.
Oh, change is not easy. We all have different reasons for building worlds, some to host events, some to educate, maybe just to show off a creative side, but mostly to share with others. Though for some, it's just the challenge itself that brings pure joy. You accomplish something, right? And justifiably so. Whenever there is a threat, no matter how slight, to those reasons, our community can be quite vocal, as many of you already know.
Yes. Statement.
Attend and mingle and chill every once in a while. We try to do our best here at the News and Updates to put a positive spin on the news because we look at the big picture. The big picture of what has become our beloved community here in AltSpace. And from the time, I don't care how long you've been here, from the time you joined till today, there's been lots of changes. Some of the changes have affected you, some have just affected other people, and you've watched them, but we've all been affected in some way. So please know that the decision to update world building features and tools is impersonal. It is professional. To stay current, AltspaceVR must keep up with changing technologies like Unity.
And as you know, the AltspaceVR struggles with user content, as user content must keep up with changing technologies and updates. And many people don't, for a variety of reasons. It's just part of the process, be it AltSpace or some software, shareware, or mobile app. It's honestly, it's keep up or get out. It's a terrible thing to say, but having spent most of my life in this industry, you fall behind and you lose. That's the motto of the industry. AltSpace is not just moving forward. In many ways, it's paving the way as others fall by the wayside. So we honor that here.
And it's not only here, you guys. You know, in your with any software that you use, there has to be a point where something stops having support because it can only support so many years back, etc. So this isn't an AltSpace thing. This is, like Laurel said, this is an industry thing. So the first major update to the world building features is due this week. They are upgrading the game engine versions from Unity 2018.1 to 2019.2. Now, what does that mean? This major update is not backwards compatible. AltspaceVR held onto the legacy programming for over a year longer than when they initially announced, just to allow builders and creators to update their assets and builds to newer versions. And Monday is the last day that those will function.
Now, we hate bringing this kind of news, but this is how it works. As she said, it's just part of the way it works. Originally, we were informed that the legacy program would cease functioning back in January 2019. So we've had an extra year. Now's the time to move forward. And I know it's bumpy. The team also announced that they're working closely with Unity from here on forward to ensure that there is more backwards compatibility as well. So this is not all on AltSpace. A lot of it's also on Unity. The team has an upgrading instructional document to help with the transition, and it's really clear. It'll show you what works and what doesn't work, and help with the transition. Most of the content uploaded using the 2018.1 version of Unity should technically work. There's some issues with backlighting, shaders, and a few other things, especially for Android uploads.
World builders have had access to the preview builds for over a month to test things, and Monday is when the full version goes live. AltspaceVR staff member Anthony M. worked throughout the holidays, and I don't know if you were in the info zone, you probably had a conversation with him because he was always there. Worked through the holidays to get the new upload release out. Among the new features are the ability for power users to turn off auto layers in the new settings tab, and offline mode, and other goodies. So please offer feedback on the new improvements on the world building channel in the AltspaceVR Discord channel. and Discord server. And guys, patience is the key to this, right? It's going to, just like all the things we experienced during the summer, and now we're past that, and we sort of forget all the things we went through in the summer, but you guys have endured so much, and this is just another step forward, and all of it is making AltSpace better for everyone.
It really is. And we're also talking about making AltSpace better. We're still waiting on the new UI for Worlds coming soon. So currently the World tab is only accessible through Settings, General, and you flip on that access to World Beta. But hopefully this will become much easier for people to find interesting and educational worlds and be able to save them as favorites. The guidelines for feature worlds has been out for a few months, and we've covered how to check frame rates as you work on your world and whatnot. And if you'd like your world featured, check that out in the World Building Knowledge Base at altvr.com to find out what those guidelines are as you work on your world and compile it for consideration for being included as a featured world here.
Now, one of the most amazing resources here in AltSpace is the World Building Tour and Showcase. It's back. Last week, we toured the amazing creative worlds of Yoko. I'm not able to attend this event very often, and I'm very sorry. You guys, this is an amazing opportunity to be side by side with world builders who do amazing things here in AltSpace, and to just ask them questions about how they did it. You gain a lot of knowledge about it. So this week we're entering Homer's Brain and Nightmares. Yes. Homer is so quiet and laid back, but he does amazing things, literally. The amazing world builder Homer specializes in what we call hand sculpting, the art of taking world building kit items that might normally not go together and creating amazing characters and animals and landscapes filled with story. He is to host some of the largest worlds in AltSpace and has pushed the boundaries in world building to extreme levels using very simple and artistic processes. This is a tour you really don't want to miss, as it will excite your imagination and show you the possibilities you might not even have considered as you approach your own world building experiences. So it's all happening Wednesday, so check out the event schedule and make sure to mark it interested so you get that email reminder, you guys, because this is one you don't want to miss. And every week there's unique opportunities to go behind the scenes of the mind that builds worlds. It's incredible.
It really is. And you know, that's some of Homer's work up there, and that's all just put together with geometrics and little tiny pieces. He literally is sculpting with these. So it's going to be, I've been looking forward to this for months. I'm just so excited. Okay, back on focus. Honestly, I'm going to have to be careful with the tour because I know that we could just, you know, Daisy and Karen and I could probably talk for days about how the cool things that Homer does with the worlds and what it means to do that sculpting and that creative expression. So we share articles regularly on our AltspaceVR news and updates channel and in our Discord server for news and updates. So for the past few months, we've been sharing some tips and techniques on using Unity to not only encourage world building in AltspaceVR, but also to help you with the transition with the new changes that are going on, and the response has been amazing. So if you find an article or a technique, share it with us, please. We'd love to have, if you find something that is cool about using Unity and world building here in AltSpace, share it. We'd love to have it. Keep them going, and as long as you find these helpful and useful, we'll keep doing this, all right? So for more information on world building in general, please go to help.altvr.com and developer.altvr.com. And poor Donna, you have been teaching and talking a ton this week. I don't know how you keep up with it all. All right, on to events.
So now, I've actually been asked by a couple of people this week already about this. Remember the Great Meetup Challenge of 2019? Well, the winner should actually be announced in the next week or so. There was hundreds of meetups that were held over the 2 weeks of the Meetup Challenge. If one of the meetups clicked and you found like minds, keep them going, as we love events here in AltSpace. And seriously, if you are passionate about something, somebody else will be passionate about it too. And seriously, if you ever want to deal with passion, go to one of Chuck's health system events. Chuck has events all the time, right? I have to say that I could go to one that's based on a topic that we all have interests and passions, right? I'll go to a topic that literally I really don't have that much interest in, and he can make it the most exciting thing on earth. I don't know how he does it. He's an amazing storyteller, but you know what? Your passion does the same thing for other people. When you're passionate about something, when people come, they'll learn from you and they'll laugh with you and they'll share with you, and it will be an amazing experience. So please, please, please contribute to the community in that way. We need your talents and gifts.
Oh, we do. And I want to bring this is a little bit of a side. So for several weeks we've been telling you that coming up this coming week, Chuck's Health System Chat is going to be talking about potatoes as a sustainability about technology and whatnot. And it just cracked me up that he's going to be talking about potatoes. So what made the big headline news today coming out of CES, the Consumer Electronics Show? Some guy who actually has a legit business is making a name for himself in marketing. Not, hopefully he'll get attention for his business. But he got a bunch of bags of potatoes, and he leased out, rented out, whatever it is. He booked a booth at the CES, which is really expensive to do, and he put some antennas into little modem antennas into some potatoes. And he is trying to convince people that these smart potatoes are the next modern technology, and this is the next game changer. And it just cracked me up. Now he's making a point that we're a little too smart apps, smartphones, smart gimmick, IoT crazy, and we need to kind of calm ourselves. But the fact that Chuck is ahead of the game because he's booked this potato thing weeks in advance, months in advance, and here we got a potato is the celebrity at CES as the latest technology. So if you want to invest in a startup, check out these smart potatoes. So thanks for bringing that up. Great segue. All right. So have you seen this potato with the antenna thing in is hysterical. Anyway, you've seen some of the events that are happening here, and honestly, as Donna said, I think she's pretty much said it all. Please, if just try the events and the meetups and never know what's going to happen. But I really want to thank some of the people that are creating some of the new fascinating events, like the social events, and then some people are doing tutorial events that help people learn how to meet each other in AltspaceVR and how to become friends. So meeting in the real world can be challenging because you may be shy or have social anxieties and stuff, and it's only just slightly different here in VR. So if you make friends easily, or you want to help smooth that transition for newcomers, create an event or a meetup that encourages people to our community and introduces them and says, hey, I did it, you can do it, let's all be friends, whatever. We love it, so go for that.
Now, if you missed it earlier today, check out future events for the XR Industry Meetup. It already happened this week, just a few hours before this. It's a meetup open to all game engineers, designers, product managers, students, artists, and those thriving and exploring the XR market. This used to be the Alt UX meetup, the user experience meetup, but now it's changed with Alan Chu and James help me out.
O'Loughlin.
What she said. Leading a discussion meetup on the news coming out of the XR industry. She really tries to give me big words every week.
I know.
For those catching up with acronyms, XR means extended reality, a summary term that includes VR, XR, MR, mixed reality. Lots of acronyms in our industry.
Indeed. Yeah. Somebody is out there has got to be watching the live stream for and doing one of those drinks every time. Drink up whenever you or I stumble over a word. I just know it. Okay, so another of our favorite disruptive personalities here in AltSpace is starting or restarting, depending on your perspective, a new game show on Sunday called What Are the Odds? The only thing we know for sure is it'll be fun, likely, honestly, bonkers. And swearing and cursing is not only anticipated, it's expected. And if you figure it out, please report back to us so we can share what this thing is about, unless NA decides to change the format again, because he's famous for that. We'll see what happens. So check out What Are the Odds.
See, sometimes change can be amazing, right, you guys? We enjoy change sometimes. So we, the gamers, is on Monday and covers news and info on a variety of games for gamers in the VR and 2D world of gaming. Now, one of my absolute favorites, it had last year in springtime when Jesse took hiatus for the summer, and then he didn't come back in September, and he didn't come back in October. And I know I reached out to him and said, please tell me you're not stopping. We want you to come back. And he's back. So he started an 8-week series. I actually don't know what week he's in, but Tech Talk this Thursday with Jesse. Oh, here we go again.
Bring another drink up again, folks. Let me on.
It's just everybody knows Jesse. Offers live, intimate conversations with pioneers, developers, artists, and the geniuses behind the world's technology. And it's a must attend for your schedule. And I want to tell you, it's an hour event. He always stays past the hour and takes people's questions, and the conversation is always super, super interesting. The guests are engaging, and it is just one of the kinds of events that we aspire to here in AltSpace. And so be sure to catch that, because he is doing only a limited series, so it goes through February. I don't know when it ends in February, but it goes through February to a certain date. So make sure to mark interested and don't miss that one.
Yay! Indeed, it is really worth attending. And another one things that are also worth attending are the Evolve VR events. So the popular besides all the meditation events, which I believe this Monday, the German one may be coming back. I just saw a notice on that pop up in the last couple hours. The popular Meditating on Mortality is back with Jeremy's dad, who just does an amazing job on Tuesdays. Followed later in the day with the Evolve VR Book Club. And it's featuring their next book, Be Here Now, by Ram Dass. Now, the world lost this amazing master recently, so this is a great choice. The books that are used in the Evolve VR Book Club are generally free and easy to find on the web. And these are really fascinating and thoughtful discussions on topics that are important to all of us that are facing our own personal and life challenges, our own mortality maybe, as we learn to cope in this fast-changing world.
Yes, and now you're going to talk about...
Oh, thank you. Sorry, lost track for a second. So this Tuesday, Educators in VR's weekly workshop features Nicholas Barone. This is the founder of the Universe and an educator here in AltspaceVR teaching computer science program. If you haven't been to one of his events, trust me, you are missing out. They're awesome. And so he's been presenting a series on learning how to use Unity with Matt Cook. God, I love Matt. He is a great VR developer and researcher who's associated with the Virtual World Society, another great organization you should know about. And Nicholas will be sharing the lessons he's learned over the past few months of teaching in AltspaceVR, including his innovative web-based surveys, his quizzes, and I don't want to give too much away. Just know you need to be there on Tuesday. You don't want to miss it.
So there's lots of fun and games in AltSpace, but learning is extremely important too. So check it out. And talking about learning, the 2020 Educators in VR International Summit is happening February 17th to the 22nd. Do the math. That's 6 days of a summit that's cross-platform, but so much of it's happening here in AltSpace, featuring over 80 hours of educational workshops and presentations on integrating VR, AR, and XR into the classroom, research, and development for education spread across, like I said, 6 days, most of it here in AltSpace. Now, there will be live streams and individual workshops with experts from around the world. The entire event is free. Okay. The entire event is free. People, I want to see hearts for that.
Free.
And open to the public. And Educators in VR is looking for volunteers to help with the logistics, moderation, filming, and more. If you would like to help, please see us after this event and we'll get you the information you need. It's a groundbreaking conference and we'd love to have you be involved. And seriously, even if you're not in education per se, everything we do is teaching somebody something, right? Every interaction, we ask questions, we answer questions. We are educating each other all the time. So this isn't specifically for, like, people not specifically in education will still garner a lot of information. So put this in your calendar, February 17th to 22nd, and please put your hand up to volunteer. Great experience.
Oh, thank you. It is. It's going to be, oh, I'm so excited. So AltspaceVR announced just over a month ago they were turning all their energy into this being a social and events platform, and events literally are running the show. Make sure that you check the schedule of featured and spotlighted events and mark them as RSVP or interested, and AltspaceVR will send you an email reminder an hour before the event, so don't miss a minute of this great, all the live concerts and workshops and classes and meetups and parties and everything else we have going on here.
Now remember, the conversation doesn't stop here in AltSpace. Check out the various Discord groups we have for the AltspaceVR community and for activities. There is a new official AltSpace group, but many of the other ones are still rocking. We have a list in the lobby just for you.
Yay! All right, now it's discussion time. So we've been discussing a variety of questions that are frequently asked in the info zone, because this helps us learn more about how AltSpace works. And so we've talked about answering the questions like, do you work here? What can you do here? And handling all the different issues associated with underage users trying to access AltspaceVR. This week's question to discuss isn't so much of a question, but a challenge. What do we do with the people who just want to hang around in the info zone and not go into the campfire? Now, the info zone has a lot of new people coming in all around the clock, 24 hours a day. Many are confused, they're brand new to VR and their devices, and others are just curious and they want to know more. They have questions and they need help, and the community helpers and others are there to help answer their questions. And they need to stay focused on the new users, because those who've been through the info zone and have created an account are then asked to move along into the campfire and not hang out, as they tend to not only get in the way, but it's really hard to concentrate when you have somebody discussing the boil on their foot that I had to listen to a couple days ago. And so it's like, send that to the campfire, send it to a private space. I don't want to hear about your boils. Anyway, and it isn't that we don't want, we don't want people to be here. It's just not a hangout space. It's a place, it's a welcoming space to help the people transition as they create their accounts. And we've also had some problems with people who are trying to fill in their, their login, and somebody is just talking and talking and talking next to them, and they mess it up, and it, they can't concentrate. So AltSpace has, like I said, over 1,000 worlds, fantastic places to hang out in, and so we need to encourage people to move along, move along, move along. So the question that we are trying to tackle most commonly right now in the info zone is, drumroll please, Donna.
Is this all there is? Oh, I bet I muted myself. Hang on.
Nope, you're alive.
Oh, I did. Sorry. I was taking some pictures, and I usually am. Okay, sorry. I totally blew the drum roll.
All right, drum roll, please.
Is this all that there is to AltSpace? Oh, if I had a nickel for every time I got asked that question, I would be way more wealthy than I am now.
So answer it for us.
Oh, you guys, you know what? There is so many different events that happen. Some happen weekly, like Tech Talk that we love. Some happen a bunch of times a week, like the It's Go Time, It's Quest Time, It's Flight Time. That's a great thing when you're talking to people, even that aren't so new in AltSpace, but if you notice there, you can always see the one hand is the go, the two hand, a lot of the new Quest users, just letting people know about the, even it's flight time, right? Whether, no matter what device you're on, learning different tricks about flying, etc. Just today, you guys love Improv Night, so it's happening at the, later tonight we have the, Rated VR, late night.
Oh, Rated VR and Improv.
Yeah, okay. And then, you guys, Ellen, somebody that a lot of you know from here in AltSpace, remember the bee thing that he created? It's still around, and you can go and pretend, feel like what it's like to be a bee in a beehive. Well, he's got the but you also get to be a bee, Laurel.
I didn't know that.
And so he created this awesome new thing called a beehive. I said, a happy hour is what I meant to say. Oh, you got me all flustered now. A happy hour. No, Laurel, that's what. Oh, I just blanked out at 101 in the middle of talking about blocking. My mind just went blank. Has been a long week of events. Anyways, happy hour, you guys. And it's happening, I think, at the Brooklyn Rooftop Hangout, which is one of my favorite places in AltspaceVR. It's been here forever, and I just love it. Now, make sure when you're talking to people to let them know about 101s. I talked to a number of people who have been in AltSpace for a while and don't know about the AltSpace 101, have never checked it out. Make sure when you're talking to new people and they start asking you questions, see if they've checked out 101. Make sure to refer people to community helpers when they have lots of questions about stuff, because we're happy to answer things. Evolver has EvolveVR has so many different kinds of events throughout the week, and those meditation events, so many people rely so much on them, right? Exactly. And like we already said about Nicholas's events in C programming. Now, you want to show off talents, you want to take a new person to an event that shows off talent, you guys, the center stage and the improv and there's so many different kinds of, from the rooftop, there's so many different kinds of events here where you can have an open mic night and where you can go behind a mic in front of an audience and do something. I got a message from somebody.
Tomorrow, yeah.
That's right. I got a message from somebody that does things with me at VR Church and said, oh my gosh, I went and I read 2 poems and I couldn't believe that I actually did it. You guys, it's not only fun for you guys that are attending, but if you take the risk and actually go behind the mic and start and present something, you guys, it is the most empowering thing. And the nice thing about I do a lot of 101s, and one of the most common things that I hear, and Laurel, you would be the same because you do a lot of them too, is that people find the people at AltSpace are so friendly. I hear that all the time. They just can't believe it, that they're coming into a space and everybody is talking to them and having conversations, and they just find everybody so friendly. But it's you guys. You guys are the ones that do that. And so encouraging people to go to events. The weight loss, that's another one where you can actually meet up with people who are struggling in things, the same kinds of things that you are, and there's power in meeting people that have the same kinds of struggles as you do. You guys, that is really so helpful. Now, the Music with Luke on Tuesdays, he has been doing this for so long, so that's another one of the music events that really is a not to miss. Now, so when you go through,
this is beautiful. I mean, there's so many things. That's what we just said. Too many things to do here. How do you explain that to people?
Right.
Yeah.
And if you are the kind of person who believes in God and wants to go to church, if you don't believe in God and want to check out church, we have so many atheists and so many people that don't believe in God, but actually join our life groups and church services for VR Church on Sundays. That's another great opportunity. So this is what I say, that when you go to events, you can, on the main page, you can see down at the bottom, there's a row of featured events. And featured events means that an event has been put together, has picked an event space, has submitted it to AltSpace for review, and has been featured. And it can also be featured, so if you go to the Oculus events listing, outside of AltSpace, go to Oculus, those featured events are actually shown on the Oculus event schedule as well, okay? Now, there's events that are not featured, and if you go to the All tab within your headset, there's all sorts of events. You'll always see the ones that are happening now. And one of the things that really gets me right now is how many events are happening now. Sometimes I have to go to the third set of, like the third page, you can scroll down and you see 6 on a page. You have to sometimes go to the third page to find an event that is actually not happening now, but is scheduled into the future, right? I love it how new people are embracing the opportunity of creating an Insta event. There's all sorts of Insta events you can create it, like we already talked about. Take a passion thing and just create an event about it. And I love going in and just eavesdropping on people that are learning how to be an event host, or learning how to moderate a crowd, or learning how they have just a micro event. Maybe there's only 5 people there and they're having a blast. I have a couple people, the last thing I'll say about this is that I've had a couple people come up to me because we talk about events at 101. A couple people have created an event and nobody's come. So I want to say 2 things about that. The first one is I encourage those people to do not stop, because every one of us has hosted an event and nobody came. That's nothing personal.
Yep.
There's so many things going on in AltSpace. Some people are at work, some people can't be in There's so many things about it, right? And while I was talking, I forgot my second thing. Oh my gosh, and that was the more important one. So if you're going to be hosting events,
keep the faith. I think keep the faith is probably most important. Just write it out, because people will show up.
Oh, I know what I was going to say.
Okay.
You guys, thank you. It'll be quick. People do this for, I experienced this personally. And it's so, for people who are new, especially new people in AltSpace, not always, sometimes it's your friends, they send you a come visit, and you go and have to a friend's event, you have a great time. I get a lot of invites from people who are new in AltSpace, and they're doing their first or second event or whatever, and they invite me to come. I always preface it by saying, I'm sorry, I have a lot of things to do. I host events, I attend events, and so I work in the real world, like I can't always be in AltSpace. So sometimes I can only stay a few minutes, but whenever I can, I go there just for a couple minutes. Now, the first thing is the newbies they love when some people who are more veterans in AltSpace, when they attend their events. And you guys, it just takes a little bit of encouragement to those people who are in the room to give them the courage and the confidence to want to continue to do that. And that is our base for 2 years from now, 4 years from now, all these people that are new and just hosting what we consider just to be these fun events, right? They're going to be the ones that are going to someday be the Evolver or the Evolve VR or or the Jessies or the whatever. We're building that community. Our community is always great. So that's the last thing I'll say about that. But oh my gosh, there's so many things to do in AltSpace, and I hope we take the opportunity to not only do them, but also support the other people that are doing them.
Indeed, and we appreciate your support. So you can keep up with all the news and all the updates here about from AltSpace by subscribing to our event through the Channels tab at the altvr.com website. Join us on our Discord. You can also watch the live stream of past events on our YouTube channel. We just added AltspaceVR announcements feed to our news and updates Discord server, so you can, we're here to keep you updated on what's going on. This is we've been doing this for almost a year and a half, and so excited to keep this coming to you so that we give up our weekend to bring you the news going on here. So please tell a friend, share our Discord and YouTube channel so others can also keep up with the news here in AltSpace.
And also, we will hang around after the news to answer your questions and talk about what you are doing here in AltspaceVR. So stick around, as we'd love to chat with you. Thanks to all our news and update volunteers and moderators. Events don't happen without support from so many different people. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you'd like to volunteer to help us out, we would love it. We do this for you, but we also need your help. So thank you, thank you, thank you. These hearts are for you.
Yay! All right, thanks everybody. Woo! We survived again.